Oh, hey, Kate.
Hi, Dean.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Thanks for letting me come into your office today.
No worries.
So can you introduce yourself and your company?
Yeah, I'm Dean Gillespie. I'm the CEO of IBA Group.
And so what does the IBA Group do?
Yeah, so we're creating the first Islamic bank in Australia. So there's about 1 million Aussies in Australia that are of the Islamic faith, but there's no Islamic bank, and Islamic banking is a little bit different to normal banking. So we're really wanting to bring choice for that 1 million Aussies, and so we're building that, and we're hoping to launch it next year.
So what does it mean for your finances to be all sharia compliant? What does this mean to you?
Yeah, so sharia compliant banking basically means that it's in line with the Islamic faith and the Quran. So conventional banking charges interest. So normally if you went to a bank, a normal bank in Australia, you'd get a loan, they charge you interest, you'd have to pay that. Under Islamic banking, it's much more community based. So it's more about shared ownership of homes. You know, if you take out a savings account, rather than getting interest from the bank, we would take the money, your savings, and we would go and do good things with it in the community and generate a profit, and then we would actually share some of that profit back to you. And so the way that you make money on your savings is actually by getting some of the profit share back. We keep some, you keep some. So it's in countries all over the world. It's the way that it's done all through the Islamic world, but it doesn't exist in Australia at the moment, and that's really bad for Muslim Aussies. They're banking that's not in line with their faith. So what we're trying to do is really bring that to Australia for the first time.
Yeah, first to market to Australia.
Yeah, first to market. It'd be really good when we launch it.
So it's been an interesting couple of years.
It has.
How has the pandemic influenced your business and your clients?
Yeah, I think massively. I think it's it's impacted everyone, the pandemic. So it just came out of nowhere. I think people sort of weren't expecting it. A couple of years ago, obviously forced people to work from home. It forced people to work in different ways. So obviously a lot of things on video, etc. But what's exciting now, I think, is we're kind of coming out of it. Hopefully we're kind of coming out of it, which means that if that's the case, it just means we can come back into fantastic office spaces like here at Space&Co and work more collaboratively, if that's the word.
That's it.
I'll try again.
That
I'm struggling.
word
I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm going to get one in a minute. But I think it's fantastic because you've now got spaces where people can come in and actually sort of talk face to face, and it just makes it so much easier when you're doing certain types of work than just trying to do everything over video.
How good. Can we step through here?
Yeah, no worries. Sure, I'll show you through to our little part of the world.
Thanks, Dean.
That's all right. You're up.
So, what have you and your organisation learnt from the last 2 turbulent years?
Yeah, I think it's actually flexibility and treating people with respect and making sure that we think about things a little bit differently. All our customers that we're used to sort of dealing with us face to face or coming to see you in the office, we've had to adapt now so that we can actually sort of deal with people on video and just the way that we interact with our own staff. We've got people all over Australia, and so having them have the ability now to actually come into a space like here and actually work together. I had all my staff from around Australia fly into Space&Co here last week for workshops downstairs, which was absolutely fantastic. It just makes it so much easier than sort of sitting on the phone after 2 years of pandemic life.
Is this your office?
Our world. This is our world, yeah.
Can we step in?
I can, certainly. Come on through. So this is our little part of the world. This is IBA Group. You can see we've got about 10 people that work in here normally. This is Ian. He's working away at the moment. So a beautiful office space. We're very lucky, actually. I think we were one of the first tenants in this space, and so I think I jagged one of the best offices, I think.
I think you've got the best view of the house.
Yeah, we've got the best view. You can sort of see the Sydney Harbour Bridge off in the distance and, Parramatta River, and we've had floods and those sorts of things, over the last few weeks, and you can see the river come up, but it's lovely. It's a really nice space here too, and we've got these, wonderful sort of whiteboards and things that we can use in the space that make things really, really, easy to sort of put up post-it notes and draw with textures and all of those sorts of things. So, yeah, it's a great space. We love it.
So what does success look like for IBA Group?
Yeah, I think launching the first Islamic bank, as I mentioned. So, starting a bank is really, really hard. There's a lot of things you have to do in building a bank from scratch. You've got to build all the IT systems. You've got to think through all of the brand and marketing and, how do you attract customers and all of those sorts of things. And it's just really tough in terms of doing that. So we've had to think about a lot of those different things and, weigh them up. And I think we're in a really good place now in terms of building it out. And as I say, we're hoping to launch next year if everything goes right.
And so what is one word to describe your team culture?
Passionate, I would say. Absolutely passionate, yeah.
Love that. What was the motivation to bring your team back into the Space&Co office?
I just think it makes things easier. It's such a lovely work environment to work from, and we've been working on video for a couple of years. As I say, I've got people all over Australia, but we've probably got about 10 here in Sydney, and when we're trying to think of different things like creative pieces of work or design pieces of work, it's really hard to do that on video. Whereas when you can get into an environment where you've got whiteboards and you've got all of these wonderful spaces all the way through. You can sit in a kitchen, or you can sit in a meeting room, or you can sit in a workshop space, or you can even walk, leave Space&Co and walk across the road and go into the park and have a bit of a chat. I think it just really makes it easier to collaborate and come up with some of these great design ideas. So we're loving it. I mean, it's just really nice it's nice to spend time with people. Humans are social beings, and I'm pretty social, and I like being able to sit down with the team and have a chat to them and sort of solve some of the challenges that we have in the business. So it's been really good.
Now, tricky question.
Yes.
What's your favourite thing on your desk, Dean?
Good question. So I think my team would probably say my 2 giant monitors, because I do work all the time. But I've got this little bear that I was given when I was very early in my career, and I've kind of always carried it. It's gone from country to country as I've worked in different locations, and it's sort of still with me. But the other thing is, because we're an Islamic business as well, we've got Ramadan at the moment, and we've had these beautiful gifts from some of my team. Like I've got baklava on my desk, and dates and all sorts of things there. So yeah, we're pretty lucky. We've always got some nice stuff sitting around the office.
And does your bear have a name?
It's not really. No, it's actually Ralph.
Ralph. Original.
Yeah, pretty original.
So how do you unite your team around your company mission or vision?
Yeah, we're really lucky because we've got such a passionate team. It's really easy because we're united behind this vision of having the first Islamic bank. And half my team is Muslim. We'll just come through here. Half my team is Muslim and half aren't. But everyone's really passionate about what we're trying to do. So it actually makes it really easy to sort of get everyone united, because everyone's sort of, you'll be thinking about sort of day-to-day issues that are going on in the business, and how do we solve this little hurdle or road bump that we got that we weren't expecting. But everyone's really united behind what you're trying to do, so it actually makes it really easy to solve things. I think when everyone's united around kind of, well, we've got little speed bumps along the way, but we all know what we're trying to deliver, and everyone's passionate about where you're trying to get to. It just makes it so easy.
One goal, isn't it?
Yeah, one goal, yeah.
And so how important is collaborating face-to-face for your team?
Yeah, I think it's just really important. I think it's really tough to build something complex, which is what we're trying to do, without having really good team interactions between people. And so one of the things I've had to focus on as a leader is making sure that we have a really great team. And I'm really lucky. I'm blessed with really good people in our business, but them having the ability to actually sort of sit and talk, and like spaces like this, right, where we can just informally whip out for 5 minutes and sit around a table like this and try and solve a problem together. It's just so much easier than trying to dial people up on video when they're dropping out and they're on mute and all of those sorts of stuff. It's great having access to a space like Space&Co that we can use for that sort of stuff.
And it sounds like you have a great team culture.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
So what's one thing you believe every business should do right now to set themselves up for the year ahead?
I would say actually look after your people. I think it's actually been a really tough year for a lot of people out there, and one of the things that's always going to make a business succeed is having the right people on board and treating people with respect. And I think if you think about, people come from different backgrounds, and people work, they have different family situations at home and those sorts of things. And for some people, the pandemic's been really, really hard. And so I think it's fantastic that we can sort of come back into a space like Space&Co where we're all together and where we can actually continue to support each other in that way. And I think that that's absolutely critical to a business, is to make sure that we can, offer an environment that's really supportive of them. And part of that is the work environment, and making sure that, we want passionate people that come to work really excited. And as a small company, we wouldn't necessarily have access to, world-class office facilities, whereas coming to somewhere like Space&Co, we've got absolutely beautiful facilities that are on par with anything in the world. So, we just love it. It's really good.
So I'm interested to know, what workplace rules should we be breaking?
I would say all of them. I
Love
reckon.
that.
Yeah, that's my view. I mean, I think the best businesses in the world break the rules, right? Like if you look at all of the big, global businesses that have transformed, the world over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, they're breaking the rules. They're improving the customer experience. They're disrupting existing industries. You obviously have to put some guide rails and risk around it, but I reckon break them all.
And where do our best ideas come from, Dean? How can we enhance creativity?
Yeah, I mean, I think putting yourself a little bit in different environments where you can think about things differently. I mean, if you're sitting at a desk all day, you haven't worked out a problem for 3 hours, you're probably not going to solve it in the next hour by sitting at the same desk. You're much better to actually get the creative juices flowing. And that's, as I say, that's one of the reasons we love Space&Co is because you can go and sit on a lounge or you can go and sit in the kitchen and have a coffee with someone. You can actually, we've got so many great businesses in this building too that we're all friends with as well. We talk to them when we go and have a coffee and that sort of stuff. You might just end up having a conversation with some other business that's in Space&Co as well. That's, gives you a completely random idea that you've never even thought of before anyway. So, I think that's part of it, get out of the environment, even go for a walk around the block or something like that, and that often gets the creative juices flowing.
Speaking of, another thing that enhances my creativity.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Do you want a coffee?
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem at all. I'll try and do this. I'm not the best barista. Barista was my first ever job, by the way, so I'll see how I can.
How about that? I'll let you know.
Probably be rubbish. That's all right. I'll see how I go.
And final question: what trends do you foresee your industry this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're in banking. Banking is just changing all the time. So the big one that a lot of people haven't heard of is probably open banking, and that's a really new thing in Australia. They have it overseas, but basically what it means is that you'll be able to share your banking data with your consent to all of the other banks out there. And effectively what it means is you can bank with IBA, you can bank with us and use our app, but you'll be able to see your bank accounts from all of your other banks as well, like CommBank or ANZ or NAB, and you can process payments between them all from within the one app. And it just gives people power over data. So that's, that combined with, digitisation, people talking to on video, all of that. Banking is not walking into a branch anymore and banking a cheque. It's totally different to that now. And so, that's what we're trying to build, and it's really tough, but it's really exciting at the same time. Coffee?
Love one.
That's better than what I used to make, by the way.
Thanks, Dean.
No worries.
Thank you so much for having us today. It was really great to hear about the IBA Group, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, no, we're really excited as well. We're loving, being here in Space&Co. It's been absolutely fantastic. So onwards and upwards.
And great coffee, Dean.
Thank you. I tried my best.